Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about some more dumb stuff that Heather Antos said, specifically more about the Joker movie, although I guess she didn't say it, it's more her friend said it and she's just saying that she agrees with it and this is a good thing. So if you don't know who Heather Antos is, I don't blame you. She's a complete nobody that kind of made it into comics just for as like a diversity quota, and that's it. She's kind of bouncing around ever since Sobolski came in and did a little bit of cleaning house when Marvel was at a very bad time. Not that Marvel's great right now, but it's much better than it was like 2 years ago when Heather Antos was there. He kind of gave her the way out. She quit, but I think she saw the writing on the wall and left. She left to pursue her new dream. So originally her dream was to be a comic book writer or editor or whatever, to work in comics, and then she decided that wasn't her dream and her new dream was work in esports, but then that failed, and so now she's back to comics, except Marvel and DC wouldn't take her, so now she's editing for Valiant. So that's what she does now. But anyway, she's just a nobody that kind of hasn't really earned her keep ever at all and just bounces around and just says a lot of dumb stuff. So she posted on Twitter something that her friend said, Rachel Miller, who I have no clue who that is. I googled, I'm like, maybe this is another person in comics. No clue who Rachel Miller is, but she made a post talking about how problematic the Joker movie is. She said, and I quote, "Okay, I've pinpointed exactly what it is that bothers me about a Joker movie. I don't want to watch a movie that shows us the trauma that drove the Joker insane. I don't want to watch a well-intentioned but unstable man get bullied until he turns into a mass murderer. I don't want to watch a man get rejected by women as an excuse for his future of domestic abuse. I don't want to be shown what a poor, unfortunate underdog this man was, who was sadly forced by circumstances and that nasty Batman to take up a life of crime. I don't want to have sympathy for a man best known for his robbery, murder, and arguable rape shoved down my throat for 2 hours. I don't want this to be sold as a relatable story that can happen to anyone with a bad enough day. And I don't want to be around any of the lonely white boys who relate to it." Do you see what I'm getting at? I don't know if there ever is a good time for a movie that paints mass murder as the logical conclusion of a socially isolated, debatably neurodivergent white man being failed by the system, but I feel as though this is not effing it. I don't want to see a movie that idolizes the Joker when there are plenty of easily armed fuckboys who already think he has the right idea, without adding a tragic backstory to elicit sympathy. I also don't want the narrative line to be drawn between mental illness and mass murder, and as is so often done in modern eras to Batman villains, and as is so common with the Joker in particular. I don't want it to get highlighted and underlined in Sharpie as well. God, I'm sick of the Joker. So, by seeing this post, you would assume that Miss Rachel Miller has seen the Joker movie. She has not. She just has probably seen a trailer and made all these assumptions about it and is very upset that there's a new movie about the Joker, about a white man, and the fact that they're getting positive reviews. The thing is, like, she makes so many assumptions. She's saying all these things like she's seen the movie and she knows exactly how it plays out. Something tells me that the movie is not going to try to tell you, hey, Joker is doing bad things specifically because bad things were done to him, and so what he's doing is justified. I don't think the movie's going to play out like that. I think it will show how he's driven insane and how bad things are done to him, and that he is maybe try to sympathize with him a little bit, but then he'll go so over the top to where it won't be like, hey, everything he's doing is justified. I don't think the movie will play it like that at all. I highly doubt that, but Rachel apparently has seen it. So let's go into this and break it down a little more. So she said, okay, I've pinpointed exactly what it is that bothers me about a Joker movie. Okay, Rachel, no one really cared. I don't think anyone asked you. What's bothering you about the Joker movie that you have not seen? What's bothering you about that? I don't think anyone asked that, but I don't want to watch a movie that shows us the trauma that drove the Joker insane. Too bad the Killing Joke animated movie already exists, dumbass, but you know, if you were a fan of these characters, you might know, but obviously you don't like the Joker, so. I don't want to watch a well-intentioned but unstable man get bullied until he turns into a mass murderer. Then don't go see the damn movie, dumbass. Don't go watch it. I hate this whole idea of I am offended by this thing, so no one should be able to watch it. If you're offended by something, that's fine. That's perfectly normal. Don't go watch it. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to go and tell everyone else don't watch it. You don't gotta be a book burner. You don't gotta be like, I don't like that book, we should burn it, make sure there's no copies available for anyone. You don't gotta be like that. You just gotta be like, hey, this isn't for me. I think this is really stupid and I don't want anything to do with it. Cool. But to try to make it to where no one should be able to see it, and if anyone sees it, they're bad and it's problematic, that's just so stupid. But then she goes on to say, I don't want to watch a man get rejected by women as an excuse for his future of domestic abuse. Is that what's gonna Is that what happened in the movie? Have you seen it? No, you haven't. We don't know that's why. We don't know how that's gonna go down. We don't know if, oh, the movie's gonna be like, hey, here he is getting rejected by this woman, so that means it's okay for him to beat women in the future. Something tells me that's not gonna be a plot point in the movie. I don't want to be shown what a poor, unfortunate underdog this man was, who was sadly forced by circumstances and that nasty Batman to take up a life of crime. Batman's not in the movie. Did you even watch the trailers? Batman is not in the movie. He's not a part of the movie. Have you paid attention at all? At all. I think at this point, I think she just saw a poster, because Batman's not in the movie. We know that. That's one of the few things that we actually know about this movie. She's like, oh, that nasty Batman forced him. Yep, Batman's not in it. I don't want to have sympathy for a man best known for his robbery, murder, and arguable rape shoved down my throat for 2 hours. Again, don't go see the movie. 2, no one thinks about rape when they think of Joker. No one. I'm sorry, but no one thinks about that. No one thinks, Joker, he's the guy who rapes people. I don't think anyone makes that connection. Everyone thinks about him as a horrible psychotic murderer that is Batman's greatest foe, but I don't think anyone thinks of him as Joker rapist. I don't think that's like... There have been some things implied with Joker, but it's never really been like a huge part of his character of like, if he captured a woman, it's like, oh no, he definitely raped her. That's not really Joker's thing. But for Harley, it was seen as Joker might even have been asexual. And aside from Harley, that's like that's like it. It doesn't really seem like, of course, but like I said, besides some other stories, but for the most part, yeah, Joker's not really known for that, but apparently she connects Joker as a rapist, something in her head. I don't want this to be sold as a relatable story that can happen to anyone with a bad enough day, and I don't want to be around any of the lonely white boys who relate to it. Whoever said this is how it's gonna be, again, we don't know how it is because we haven't seen the movie. Another thing is, what white boys relate to this? What? I haven't seen anyone saying that they relate to this. All I've seen is ironic, like, Gamers Rise Up stuff, which she probably takes that seriously. When she sees the Gamers Rise Up stuff talking about women minorities, she probably takes it seriously and is like, oh my god, and is like freaking out. It's ironic humor. It's how the kids are these days. There's a lot of ironic humor. There's a lot of just not taking anything seriously. But I don't think she gets that. I think I would have loved to like just see a live reaction cam of this lady going through like the Gamers Rise Up Reddit and see how shocked she is at just all the dumb stuff on there. I don't know if there ever is a good time for a movie that paints mass murder as the logical conclusion of a socially isolated, debatably neurodivergent white man being failed by the system. But I feel as though this is not effing it. My favorite thing about this is how she like gets her thesaurus out to get some big words like neurodivergent in there, and then she seals it with an F-bomb to let you know she's serious and she's not messing around. But again, she's acting like she's seen the movie. Paints mass murder as the logical conclusion. Whoever said that it's gonna do that? Whoever said it's gonna connect A and B and say, oh, if you're, a social outcast, that means you have the right to kill people. That's not gonna, I don't think Todd Phillips is doing that with this movie at all. And also, when you have a bit more character to your villains, it makes them more interesting. And sorry, but it does. Even no matter how horrible they are, like the Joker. That's why Killing Joke was so interesting, because you saw that he was a decent guy before all this. Assuming that the Killing Joke origin is real, but we don't know because we don't know Joker's actual origin. But it's more interesting for a character instead of just black and white. Having a little more gray makes it more interesting instead of just, oh, he is pure evil and that's all he ever was and there's nothing that ever turned him or anything. Again, all this stuff happening to him and turning him doesn't justify anything he does unless you're an idiot like Rachel here. But no one reads Killing Joke and thinks, oh, everything that happened with his pregnant wife and all that justifies him murdering people today. No one thinks that. I'm sorry, but no one does. Coming from a white man, no one thinks that. At least I don't think that, and I don't think anyone else does either. It's just okay. I don't want to see a movie that idolizes the Joker when there are plenty of easily armed like boys who already think he has the right idea, without adding a tragic backstory to the simile. She's already seen the movie. I also don't want the narrative line to be drawn between mental illness and mass murder, as is so often done in modern eras to Batman villains, and as is so common with the Joker in particular. I don't want to get highlighted, underlined, Sharpie as well. God, I'm sick of the Joker. So there's this place called Arkham Asylum. It exists in Batman comics and media and everything, and people that are a little messed up in the brain go to an asylum. People that aren't go to a prison. They go to Blackgate prison, So there's a differentiate there. Are you saying that in fiction we shouldn't be allowed to have people that have mental illness that kill people? Are you saying that we should section that off because of because anyone that's mental illness? It's just, it doesn't make any sense, because there are a lot of the mass shooters that you see today have some type of mental illness. Not everyone that has mental illness is a mass shooter, obviously, everyone knows that, but most of the people that are these mass shooters have a mental illness, so it makes sense to have a lot of Batman's crazy, more like extravagant villains to have a mental illness. It makes sense, but she's very much championing of the oppressed over here. It hurts reading this. And then moving on to Heather, she made a little comment saying, "It was not that long ago when a socially isolated, disgruntled white man who felt wronged by society quite literally dressed up as a Joker and shot up a movie theater in Colorado. Except that's not true. He didn't dress up as a Joker. He did." Why are you making stuff up? And my favorite reply, though, is Jimmy Palmiotti, who's one of my favorite comic writers, had a great run on Jonah Hex with Justin Gray. He said, "I really cannot comment till I've watched the actual movie." I think that was his way of being really nice, while also at the same time being like, just watch the movie before you say anything. And it was great, because I 100% agree. Watch the movie before you say anything. And if you don't want it, if you're so just, oh, it's too problematic, don't watch it. No one's forcing you to. It's funny seeing these people that call everyone they see a Nazi being book burners, being these type of people that are like, oh no, that piece of fiction over there, I don't like it, and no one should be able to get a hold of it. Burn it so no one can get a hold of it. I just burn it. I think it doesn't. How are you someone that calls people Nazis all day long and then be a book burner at the same time? Also, how are you working in comics and and think that the Joker is problematic and shouldn't exist? Like, the Joker is a terrible person, obviously, but he's a fictional character. He doesn't exist in real life. I don't get mad at people who are Joker fans. I like Joker as a character. I think he's really interesting. He's sadistic and messed up. I think he's a really interesting character to read about. Same with like Darth Vader. There were some people before that were saying like, hey, if you like Darth Vader, you like Nazis or something like that, because, you know, the Empire was formed to be sort of like the Nazis. And I don't think if you like stormtroopers and you like Darth Vader, that makes you a Nazi. They're fictional characters. That doesn't mean you're a Nazi, but these people they're insane, and I just think it's so stupid. But yeah, I just want to talk about this because I haven't made a video about this in a long time. I saw this on my feed. I'm like, this could be fun to just talk about. But yeah, please let me know in the comments below, what did you think of just this stupid crap? I'm excited for the Joker movie. I'm hoping it's good. I'm a little skeptical because I don't like how far they're getting away from the comics. I wish they'd get a little bit more influence from the comics instead of they're kind of just taking the Joker name and just being like, we're going to use the Joker name but do stuff that has kind of nothing to do with Joker besides the fact that it's in Gotham and a dude dresses like a clown. It's kind of it. But yeah, I'm hoping it's good. The reviews have got me pumped. I'm excited to see it, but I'm going to wait to hold judgment until I actually do see it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and maybe subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.